Well, hi. I'm really excited to spend today with you and also to just be part of this beautiful coaching container. Pop some love in the chat if you really loved these calls. I want to know, have you been enjoying them? I think what I have loved most about these is that, and this is I think my favorite thing about this whole community in general is the actual ability you have to get in the rooms and sit at the tables with women who are showing you how they lead in life, lead in business. And I'd love to know, what are some things that you have personally found inspirational or aspirational about the women that have been leading these calls? Like, what's a trait in some of these women that you've been inspired by? I'd love for you to pop it. I'd love to hear in the chat, like, when you're listening to any of these women or coaches who've been doing these calls, what is something that you've been like, wow, like I really love how she does that or how she shows up like this? Like, you don't have to name anyone in particular, but what are some things that you've really been inspired by and have loved getting out of the calls? So different perspectives. I've loved the calmness, the certainty, how they show up and serve, energy, certainty. I love that they've all just started where I was. I love how even on the hard days they show up, certainty. They all show up no matter what phases they are in life, authenticity, genuine discussions. I love it. Keep it going. If you haven't popped something in chat, I'd love to hear from each of you. When you get off a call, or maybe you're inspired by one of the women leading the calls, what is something that you're seeing in them that you're like, I want to emulate that? I love how she shows up. Like, I love that in her leadership. I love that in her communication. I love that heart, passion, soulful, the recurring theme of energy, kindness, energy, certainty, confidence, heart, passion. Things I've learned about human design and astrology have been game changing. I love the evidence of the women who are showing up and sharing how they've broken through their own glass ceilings. Yes. Positive energy, confident, feminine authority, how open everyone has been, those leading and those interacting, the space has been held. Yes, I love all of this. Belief in self and their businesses, authenticity, truthfulness, honesty. Love, 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 love. And so what I really want to get out of today, and I really want to make sure, because we've only got 2 weeks left of these beautiful, soulful women coaching series. We've got me this week, and you got Linda doing a beautiful bow and ending it next week. But I want to make sure you really get to leave these coaching containers activating your own unique gifts so you can actually create everything that you have in your vision that's on your heart that you want to create in this space. So what I hope, have you ever heard that saying that you only see in others or recognize in others what's already in yourself? Have you ever heard that saying before? So some of the things that you've popped in the chat, like the thing that you personally popped in, the thing that resonated with you, I want you to ask yourself, because where are you embodying that? Where have you been that in your life? Because these women are just mirrors for you. You can only see and recognize a trait in somebody else that's already in you. So with your pen and paper, if you want to write it down, because I'm going to take you through a bit of a process. But if you feel safe to share, and I hope you do feel safe to share, and I think that's what I loved about these containers, is that it is a really beautiful, safe space where you are held. Whatever you popped in the chat, whatever you reflected or mirrored back, where in your life have you embodied that before? Where have you believed in yourself? I'm just going to pick out some things people have said, and I'd love for you to share in the chat if any of this resonates, or where in your life you've seen this. So where have you exerted positive energy and showed up as a positivity in your life, in your circles, in your relationships, in your network? Where are you that for others? Where in your life are you confident? There might be other phases or other aspects of your life, because we're all multi-dimensional beings. We are multifaceted, and some of us have careers, and we're mothers, and we have sports, and we have hobbies, and we've had previous life and seasons. Where have you been confident? Where have you previously broken through a glass ceiling or done something that you didn't think you could do? Where have you shown up with that energy that you see other women have that you want to emulate? Like, where have you shown up in other areas of your life? Maybe you haven't brought it into this space yet, Where have you been soulful? Whereas if that's a trait that you felt emulated and mirrored back to you, where have you been kind? Where have you been certain? Where in other phases or networks or places in your life have you brought the confidence and the certainty for others? Where have you brought the passion? I really want you to be able to articulate. Like I want you to be able to pinpoint, and hopefully when I'm not all these might not resonate, but hopefully some. I want you to be able to really articulate on your piece of paper or in the chat where in your life you can actually, if you can remember a memory, an event, a circumstance, maybe a different season of life, where even on hard days have you shown up? Where have you been authentic? Where have you been genuine? Where have you been in your feminine authority? Where have you believed in yourself and backed yourself, even maybe when there wasn't evidence of that yet? Where have you been vulnerable? Where else in your life or in your history have you committed to building yourself and leaning into developing yourself and your skill set? Hopefully it's got some juices flowing. Have all of you been able to identify, even if you haven't shared in the chat, other places where you've brought that? Or you've realized those things that you have seen in other women that you've been inspired by, and you've actually thought they're outside of yourself. You're like, oh my gosh, those are within me. I can see how that's mirrored within me. Maybe I haven't brought those into this arena yet. Maybe I haven't tapped into my unique qualities and brought them here yet. But I know previously I have, because now I'm just going to share some things in the chat. Amy's, I've noticed, seen this in my motherhood. I've been that in my friendships. I've shown these traits authentically in my circle with my people. However, online sometimes creates a block to put authenticity forward. I'm confident and certain when on the spot after doubting my knowledge. I've shown up on this hard day and all the others in pregnancy. Yes, Sophie, I feel you. I have shown up even when it's hard in pregnancy. You don't have a choice, do you? But you do it. How many times in motherhood do we do things we don't want to do, but we have to because we've got people who are relying on us to keep them alive? We can be disciplined. We can show up on the hard days. We can push through our glass ceilings. Over the last 7 years since joining this business and diving into growth, I've had so many limiting beliefs and lack of belief in myself. I've broken through a lot of glass ceilings that have allowed me to continue to grow. I love that. Now, really honestly, just pop it in the chat. One, if you haven't identified anywhere else in your life, have I got everyone with me at some point? You've been able to see glimpses of this woman that you want to emulate, and you've been her previously, or you've been her in other aspects. Let me know if anyone's stuck. So I really want to make sure that you can at least identify, like, I know I'm her. Maybe I lost her for a little bit. Maybe I have doubted my ability to bring her in this space, but I know that I've got those traits. I know I'm capable of that. I see that in them because I know I've already noticed that within me. And he said, I've always been showing up passionately, honestly, and genuinely in life, in my relationships, and now learning to do it in my business and sharing my journey on social media too. I love it. Loving these shares, ladies. So, tell me, what are the characteristics? So when you think about maybe the success or like whatever you determine success to be, whether some of those, the space that you took yourself to, the event, the arena that you've played in, tell me some of the characteristics or traits, like your personal superpowers that allowed you to show up and be that woman in that arena. What are some things that come up for you? And I'd love you to pop it in the chat so we can play along. What are some characteristics or traits you pulled on to be that woman? Sophie, surrendering. Love it. Bravery. Inner strength. Confident. Calm, courage. Self-love. Trusting the process and timing. Passion. Less doubt. Self-worth. Feeling the fear and knowing that's exactly why you have to do the thing. I love that. Because when I think about other spaces in other areas of my life and other events where I've emulated some of these things that these women are, and I think about how I called on my inner superpowers to be that person in a different space, that's the one thing that comes up for me each time is I've felt the fear. None of those other times have I not felt the fear. I've just had the courage, or I've shown up regardless, or I've had to back myself regardless. So it's like that calm courage, or like Annie said, purpose. Like I've reminded myself there's a reason why I'm doing it. There's purpose there, or there's passion behind it. I love that. The saying that you just popped there, Sophie, reminding yourself that everything is hard until it's easy. Bernadette, letting go of what no longer serves me, creating space for what I do want. I love this. So what I'm trying to get you to really do is anchor into an experience or evidence. Sometimes we don't have evidence of the woman we want to be in this space yet, but we have all experienced her somewhere else in our life. And I know I can speak into this now because I'm now a mum, but I've noticed there's been stages in my early adult life where I felt way more confident, and somewhere I lost along the way, I've lost my confidence with the transition to motherhood. And I'm like, I can remember a time there where I really felt confident and I backed myself, or I did things that now I'm scared to do. And so I'm sure there's probably phases or seasons of your life where you can be like, okay, I've got evidence, because I know the whole point of faith, I've got faith tattooed on my wrist because I'm a firm believer in this, is that you need to believe in something you can't already see yet. And for a lot of us, that's hard. So what I want you to do though is find evidence of something you have already experienced. Does that make sense? Are you all with me? So where is your unique superpowers? What were the traits that you already have within you that you have activated? Maybe you just haven't activated them for a while. Maybe you forgot they were in your tool belt. Maybe you've been telling yourself a shitty story that it's not you. That's not you. You're not that kind of woman. And you just had these beautiful women in this coaching container be these amazing mirrors and just reflect to you and remind you, I am her. I've just forgotten about her, or I've forgotten to turn her on. Or I needed to give myself this pep talk and have Lauren today remind me that I'm capable of all those things. And I've brought those things to other areas of my life. I just need to bring them into this arena. Courage and support, knowing that I was showing up to help others and would be the support that I wish I had in that experience. Yes, I love that you shared that, Cara, because you're on my same wavelength. You're kind of going where I'm going with this. Mel, my superpower is my authenticity. Richard Blissbrook helped me realize that recently. Love that. Sophie, being childlike and playful and learning to surrender into that for business and life as I become a mum. Simone, the ability to get things done, achieve the goals I set for myself, and silence the reason excuses not to. I love that. So now that hopefully you've just been reminded, have all of you got like a little glimpse? Can you feel a little bit of activation in your heart? It's not something that's external anymore. You're like, ooh, like Loz has just lit something up in me. There's a remembrance there. There's a reactivation there. There's a renaissance there. Can you feel her? She's just under there. We're adding some fuel to the fire. We're going to really re-engage her and activate your own superpower. So yes, a little sparkle. So now what I would love for you to do, and I want you to be really honest, like remember you get out what you put in, and I know you love feeding off the energy in this container from each other, so hearing from each other. Tell me, where would you personally be if someone didn't share this community with you, this business with you, these products with you, this opportunity with you? Everyone comes and takes different things out of this beautiful space and community, but I really want you to really anchor into and pop in the chat, where would you personally be if someone didn't share this with you? Really, I want you to connect with it. Think about where your life was, because I know for a lot of us, we're kind of going down one trajectory, and call it serendipitous, call it spiritual guidance, call it whatever you want to call it. Someone, somehow, this pops up in our feed, someone has the courage to reach out and share us something, and suddenly our life opens up. I don't know about you, but I remember there was like a fork in the road for me, and suddenly it was dark and then it was light. There was possibility. There was opportunity. There was like, what if? There was examples of a different trajectory of my life that I never thought was possible. There was women that I didn't even know existed that were willing to help me. Like, what the hell? I've never experienced. Have any of you experienced that before? I've never experienced that before. So I know personally, if it wasn't for this business and this opportunity, like I'm going to take you there. I know where I would be. I wouldn't be dreaming. I'd be probably on about, maybe if I've been in the business for 10, if I was still in that career 10 years ago, I might be on 100K a year working child protection in a leadership position, but I'd be working 60-hour weeks, very emotionally stressed and burnout, knowing that I hold a lot of risk and responsibility for kids in high risk situations, making very big decisions, getting a lot of abuse, really struggling to turn off and come home to home. My kids would be the first in daycare and the last to be picked up because we don't have any family around. So we would be working, me and my hubby, long hours. We wouldn't have the extra money that we have to have investments or savings. I definitely wouldn't be living, breathing health and wellness. I wouldn't have the sparkle in my eyes. I wouldn't be passionate about the work that I do. I wouldn't have the beautiful women that surround me. I wouldn't have traveled the world. Like, that's where my life, like, that's drastically different, right? That's just one story. So I want you to think, I'm just reading the chat. I'd be very sad. I'd be lost and alone. I'd be feeling small and miserable. It's that simple. I can hardly imagine life, to be honest. I was in a toxic marriage I had stayed in for too long, 26 years. I wouldn't have known my value to leave. I'd be stuck waiting for the next thing to happen, unfulfilled, bored, lonely. I'd be stuck in a 9-to-5 mindset. Since finding this community, I've made a new goal to live the life they want to that isn't constantly revolving around an office. I was so disconnected and overwhelmed as a stay-at-home mum in a struggle and not sure how to be happy again. I would still be holding back my own journey to be able to pour into others first. I would be lacking so much confidence, feeling stuck and lonely. I wouldn't have been able to travel continuously for the last 7 years. I wouldn't have a strong sense of purpose or passion. I'd still be burnt out and exhausted. I wouldn't have made the friendships I've made now. I'd still be dreaming of a space where women support and uplift each other. I'd be in and out of hospital on heavy drugs, struggling with Western medicine due to endometriosis. I'd be depressed and probably not blessed with a pregnancy. Just started, but the support is awesome. It's given me the courage to start again. Welcome, Deanna. We love having you here. Amber, this positive space has helped me through my grief through pregnancy loss last year. Just this community is so grateful. I wouldn't be the healthiest I've ever been at 40. We wouldn't have had those years with our kids before school started. They've been in daycare. We wouldn't have had our family over East as much. So much would not be the same. I'd still be stuck in a job that I didn't enjoy. I'd not been able to travel so many countries and cities over the last 2 years. I wouldn't be dreaming any bigger. I wouldn't be able to spend quality time with my family in Vietnam. I'd be sick and tired of not being able to fulfill my highest purpose. I wouldn't have the personal growth I've had and the understanding of my personal values and how I can align my God-given purpose with this business and work. It's pretty powerful, hey, reading the gift that we have here. It's not just a product. It's not just a program. It's not just a community. It's not just a business. You actually have a vehicle here that completely can change women's lives. It helps women live again, right? And it's not just this generation. I think about all the time the generations that we've helped. Like, a lot of you are mums. Think about the generation you've already made the difference in your kids' lives because they've had a different upbringing because you've been home, or they've been able to have health because of the gummies, or they've been able to just have a healthier, happier mum because you've been a healthier, happier mum. Like, how much has their childhood been affected because of the ripple effect that you're making in other women's and other mums' lives? So the reason I really encourage us to sit with this, and Kara kind of touched on this before, is I want to ask you, who are you robbing out of this because you're making it all about you and some shitty story. Who are you robbing out of the health and wellness, the community, the personal development, the income, the freedom, the flexibility, the self-worth, the mentorship, like all the different things that different women have come here and got out of this space? Who are you robbing out of that because you're not using your superpowers in this arena? Think about, and this is what has always helped me in this space, is servant leadership. Even when I was brand new and I had fast success, I look back because I always try, obviously, if you're going to be successful in this space, your success relies on your ability to help other people have success, right? Like real leverage success here is about helping your team be successful. And what I learned really on was if I want my team to be successful, I need to go first. I need to be the example. And how I did that was coming back on all those beautiful superpowers that you ladies all anchored into at the start, which meant I was scared. The fear was always there. I had courage, but I had passion and I had purpose. And I know there was a reason why I had to do certain things. And so whenever you are in your head and you're not showing up here, you're not doing the work. Like when I say the work, like let's get really specific with that, the work. Because what is the work in this business? When I'm not having new conversations every day. Let's name what the work is. When I'm not sharing my story. When I'm not talking to camera on social media. When I'm not sharing the products. When I'm not reaching out and inviting someone to an event or to conference. When I'm not bringing up the products, I'm hearing another mum at the playgroup struggling about how she's struggling with postnatal depression or postnatal depletion. That's the work, right? Like when we talk about what's the work, that's the work. Are you doing those things? And if you're not doing those things, is the stuff that come up for you is who am I to say that? What will they think of me? What if I stumble over my words? What if they think I'm pushy? What if they think I'm salesy? Oh my God, I can't talk to camera. I can't do a live. I'll stumble over, like, oh my God, I can't even do any of those things. All that self-talk, that is normal. But that's where you've got to call on those superpowers, those gifts that you have in other arenas that you've proven to yourself you have, and you've got to bring them into this space and you've got to activate them. And the only way that I have personally learned to get out of my own way really quickly and do things first isn't from a place of I'm amazing. To be honest, it's not even a place of like self-belief or self-confidence. It's from a place of servant leadership. I've got to go first because I've got to show these other women what's possible. I've got to do this and master this so I can turn around and teach my team how I did it scared. I've got to do this and do it messy so I can turn around and show my team how bad I was when I started and they can look at where I am in 10 years' time. I've got to do this despite the haters and despite my family not supporting me. So in 10 years' time, I can be able to look at what I created and I'm still here. I've got to do this and I'm not going to give up on a bad day. So in 10 years' time, I can tell my kids and look them in the eye, you have this because I didn't give up. So we all have that shitty stuff at the start. And if you're still playing in that space right now, my gift to you is servant leadership. Stop making it about you and start making it about, this is the only way I flip it. Who can I help? Where was I before this business got shared with me? I'm not trying to talk to everyone. When I'm showing up on my social media, I'm working with so many team right now who are still in their head about posting certain things because they're worried about someone Sally from high school is going to think or the in-laws are going to think. I'm like, I don't care. I'm not talking to Sally from high school. I'm not showing up to impress my in-laws. I'm showing up because there's a woman like me who was where I was 10 years ago who was like, I am so hungry and I don't have the vehicle that's going to allow me to create what I want to create. Or I am so passionate about finding a way where women can have it all, but I haven't seen anyone who's got an example of that. Is that just a pipe dream? And you've had examples every single week of women that you said you emulate who are mirrors to you, who show you what's already available within you. You've got to activate your superpowers, ladies. You've got to bring it in this space. And to have success here, and I know everyone's version of success is different, but whatever you deem success to be, whether it's helping others with their health and wellness, whether it's a certain income amount, whether it's helping with them with community connection, all of that relies on you going first. And so I want you to ask yourself, where are you not showing up in your business right now? And let's have some honest talk right now. I want you to write it down or pop it in the chat. What's the story you're telling yourself why you haven't had success here, or why you haven't had the success that you want here? Have any of you got like a shitty story that you're telling? Thanks for sharing. So what comes up for you? What's a shitty story that you have? Jody, I can't have it all. And if you have like reasons or excuses why you think you can't do what you want to do here, or show up the way you want to show up, or create what you want to create. I'm not worthy. I can't help my team reach their promotions. I'm too busy to be consistent. I told myself I wouldn't have support and people would judge me for trying to do this. I'm afraid of what everyone I already know will think. I need to be perfect to lead others. Who am I over everyone else that can be the one to make the change? Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Whatever's on your heart, whatever's there, I'm going to just leave some space here. Not trusting my knowledge when I'm questioning the falseness of online appearances. One of the things that really rung true to me, and I heard this really early on when I started in this profession from one of our beautiful uplines, Lauren Lahav, was she asked me, or somebody even asked her once before she was running an event, is, do you know how to look after people? I think it was like, I think it was even Tony Robbins. He asked her to do an event and she's like started stressing out, and he's like, Lo, do you know how to look after people? She's like, yeah. She's like, that's all we do. And that when I think about servant leadership in this space, our job here is to look after people. Whether you're talking to someone in the inbox, you're talking to someone in person, you're talking to your customer, servant leadership is being concerned about them, not about you. It's not about your fears, not about your self-judgment, it's not about what you think, your self-limiting beliefs. If you're focusing on the person that you're talking to and you know how to care about people, you're going to be successful here. Get lost in the service of others. And I know for most of us, that's the reason why most of us say yes to this. I know for a lot of women, particularly in my team, a lot of us are mums. Most of us are women, let's be honest. The majority of this is female dominated. And one of our beautiful superpowers as feminine beings is that we naturally nurture. We naturally care for people, and we naturally share things that work for us, which is why network marketing is such a smart business model for women, especially mums. And especially because we are community builders, especially when you're in that season of life, you're kind of getting women around you. We're all kind of helping each other through the season. We're bringing families together and we're helping our families survive. But I think, I don't know about if you guys reflect in your teens, but I know serendipitous or chance or whatever it might be, but a lot of the women I seem to attract in my team are women who were in service providers jobs previously. They were nurses, PTs, yoga teachers, social workers, policemen. Like a lot of us say yes to this space because we want to help people. So I really want you to anchor into that. If you know and you bring your superpowers that you articulated from other areas of your life and you brought them here and you emulated that woman and you reminded yourself that you're her, and you allowed yourself to get lost in the service of others, and you focus on others rather than the shitty story that you're telling yourself, I want you to ask yourself, honestly, is a story that you've just popped in the chat true? Is that a truthful story, or is it just an old shitty story that you've picked up from somewhere? Like, is there truth in that? Or is it just something that you've been able to pick up, hold on to, that's kind of confirmed your comfort zone and made you be like, yeah, I don't have to play all out here. I don't have to put myself out of my comfort zone, and I don't have to articulate and step into my gifts here. Yeah, it's the bitch in my head speaking for me. It's self-sabotage. I want you to be honest. Is there any truth in that? Is there any truth? And only you're going to be able to call yourself on. And if there is, pop a 2 in the chat if you think there's truth in it, honestly, or if you're like, no, I just know I'm telling myself an excuse that makes me feel better, that keeps me safe. Like, is it like, so I'm just going to do some examples. I'm just do some challenging here just for some things that people have said. Are you really too busy to be consistent, Denise? Are you consistent with cleaning your teeth? Are you consistent with feeding your kids? Are you consistent with going to bed? Like, we prioritize things that are important, right? So is it are you really too busy, or are you just not making this a priority? Kendra, I can't help my team reach their promotions. Are you sure? Are you sure? And if I'd love you to pop your numbers, how many team are you personally bringing on? Are your numbers on par for what normal is, like across the board? Because not everyone who comes here is going to want to hit their promotions. There might be some truth in that. Maybe you need help with onboarding. Maybe you need to work with a mentor or a leader who can work closely with you to help you build your confidence there. But are you having the conversations to bring on the team to help them hit their promotions? Or is this a shitty story that's stopping you from even doing any of the stuff to start them? Like, I want you to really challenge yourself. Is there truth in what you're saying, or is this just the excuse that you're feeding yourself so you get to stay safe and you don't activate and bring your superpowers into this arena? Jody, why can't you have it all? Have you seen women in this space examples of that? Where is there proof or evidence of that? And what does having it all even mean for you personally? Like, I want you to challenge yourself on that. Is that truthful for you? Katarina, I'm not worthy. Why? Why is everyone else worthy and you're not? Is there really truth to that? Why are you not worthy? You're worthy because you're here. You're alive. You're a being. You have just as right as anyone else in this entire world to create whatever it is that you want to create. Are you hungry to create it? Are you committed to create it? Are you committed to bringing your superpowers in this space, being a servant leader and going first to create it? That would be the truth I'd ask you. I told myself I wouldn't have support and people would judge me for trying to do this. Is there truth in that? Are people going to judge you? So this is an example of how this works. Yes, people are going to judge you. What's the truth in that? Who cares? I call it like shining the monsters, like shining a light on the monsters. There's monsters under your bed, right? But if you shine your light on them, you're not scared of them anymore. So rather than avoiding it and pretending that they're not, let's admit people are going to judge you. What are they going to judge you? What are you actually, I want you to write it down, articulate. What are you scared they're going to think? Oh my gosh, Lauren's selling those products. Cool. Oh my gosh, Lauren has got an online business. Cool. Oh my gosh, Lauren's trying to help other women be successful in business. Cool. Lauren's still doing that thing 10 years later. Yep. Like, there's nothing that they can think that would make me triggered. And if something triggers you, I want you to ask you, why do you care? Is there truth in that? If they're like, oh, Lauren's messaging me because she wants me to join her business. Well, if I generally think that I think they'd be great or it could help them, then yeah, there's truth in that. But if I'm showing up authentically and I'm doing this business in a way that we all teach you to, where you put relationships first and you become a servant leader, which means you care about the person, you ask great questions. I'm only looking to help people who want the help. I'm not spamming people. I'm not pushing people. I'm here to help people who want help. So I don't care what other people think of me. So what is the judgment that you're scared of? And is there truth in that? Can you stand in your truth of that? that I'm too old. Is that truthful? Is there an age limit on this? I've seen so many women who've started this business in their 40s and 50s who had success in their 60s and 70s. Like, I don't know how old you are, Deanna, but I know there's women in this space who are in their 70s who are having great success. So I don't know if that's the truth. I don't want to be pushy. Great, Amber. Then don't be. Don't be. I need to stop letting others think of me rule my decisions in life. Life's too short to care. Okay, is this landing for you guys though? Is there actually any truth that you've been telling yourself? So if there's an old story, what's the new story? I want us to rewrite a new story. And sometimes a new story can just be giving yourself permission that I've been self-sabotaging and I haven't given myself permission to play full out in this space. Could that be the new story? Can the new story be, I've been comfortable and I've loved just taking my time and finding my feet in this space, but I finally have found my superpowers. I'm ready to turn that on in here. I'm ready. My new story is, I just wasn't ready, but now I am. Is my new story, I haven't been bringing my self-leadership, my courage into this space. Is my new story, I've just been playing small and letting other people's shitty beliefs and stories dictate how I show up and stop me from activating my superpowers. Because sometimes the new story can be empowering when you actually just validate and admit maybe that you've had a shitty story. It doesn't have to be this deep-rooted thing where I'm broken, I've got to do all this work and I've got to go into my childhood and I've got to fix myself. It could just be like, I'm aware that this is where I've been at and this is what I've been telling myself, but now I'm also aware that I have these characteristics and I'm going to bring them into this arena. I've just been reminded of the gift that I have and I'm ready to step into servant leadership and activate my gift so I can have success here and I can help other women have that success here. I'm ready to step into my light and be the example so I can help other women create this opportunity and have this light in their lives as well. I'm going to pop just a little bit of music on, but I just want to make sure that you leave today with a new story. With a new story. It can be one sentence. It can be a couple of sentences. I just want to make sure that you don't just jump off today's call and you're like, that was cool. I felt really fluffy and positive and light. And I'm going to go back to sitting in my old shitty story and just keep reliving and retelling the same shit talk. That's not how we move forward here. We want to lead ourselves so we can lead others. You know you've got magic powers. You know you've got your own unique superpowers. You know you've had them and you've used them in other phases of your life. You know that you can help other people have success here because you go first and you've seen other examples of what's possible. You know how to care for people. So I'm pop some music on. I want you to all be able to just write a couple of sentences. It might just be a starting point, but what's the new story that you're leaving with today? Keep writing. I'm just going to start sharing some that are in the chat. My new story is that I attract team that are ready to make moves. I'm showing the way as a servant leader. Previously, I've only attracted team that are out before they've even joined their first team training or the first steps in starting strong. You're welcome, Amy. Bye, honey. I give myself permission to play full out in this space. Feel free to keep sharing. But what I really hope that you walk away from today's call with, and how I really hope that you start to see this community, is like our job here is to turn each of our lights on. I don't want you to sit on these calls, and I hope, like, yes, it's beautiful and you can see, be inspired and find things aspirational about the women who lead in this space. But just remember, you only see in others what's in you. And allow that to mirror back to you what you have in you, and you need to activate your own light. Because what I understood really early on is by me going first, I create a safety net. I'm the light, right? I then create an example where women then feel safe to go after me, but they need to see you go first. And so what we mean by that was that work that we spoke about. What does going first and doing the work means? It means sharing your story, putting your hand up to talk at an event, leading an event, following up, doing the reach out, showing up on team trainings. So often I hear women talk about they want community and they crave community, but they're not turning their light on and creating a space to cultivate a community around them. They're waiting for somebody to come save them. Like, if you want the community, you want to be around that, you've got to show up and have your camera on. You've got to cheer other women on. You've got to go first. You've got to be vulnerable. Community doesn't just start with one person. Community is activated by each of you turning your lights on and stepping into your superpowers. So knowing that you are enough. You have your own unique superpowers. You are enough. And it's you and your enoughness, you being worthy exactly who you are. Then you provide a mirror for other women in your own communities who then see something available in you that's reflected back in them. But like, I can recognize in her, but I haven't been her in 5 or 10 years. Maybe I've lost myself in motherhood. Maybe I've lost my confidence in my career. Maybe I've stopped dreaming because I've just been stuck in the 9 to 5 and I haven't had women around me who've showed me what it's like to dream or show me what it's like to have what's possible. So your responsibility when you walk away from today is to turn your light on and to lead yourself so you can lead others and you can pay this gift forward. So the new stories that you beautiful women are walking away with from today is, I'm prioritizing my business because of that. I'm consistent. Yes, Denise, I love that. I am committed. I do make a difference. I have the passion. I am ready and I can do this. Not everyone will like it. Not everyone will see it, but that's their story, not mine. Boom. I can build a successful business, inspiring and helping others on their wellness journey. Yes, you can. Be the lighthouse. You're so welcome, Catherine. Time to practice my preaching and be in fear and start my heart. That's all people want in this world is authenticity. So why are we so afraid to show our true selves? Yes. I give myself permission to surrender into the playful, honest, raw version to myself because that is the woman I want beside me as team and the woman I want to lead. Yes, 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 yes. I don't have to be a leader of team. When I join these sessions, I play all out and be part of the community. Yes. I'm committed. I do make a difference. I have passion. I am ready and I can do this. Not everyone will like it. Yeah, I think I've already, powerful. I read that one. Amazing. So I hope you're all leaving today with your new story. And something I encourage you to do, and this is something I personally do, like the work never stops, right? Is I've got my new story, I have an old story, and we're all going to get caught up in stories. And the cool thing about this is a replay. So this can be a resource and a tool that you have in your toolkit that you can help your team when you feel like your team aren't stepping into their light. That's another tip. Leaders leverage off resources. Until I got confident to lead trainings, I started cultivating and stealing good trainings in my tool belt that I knew could help team. So if I found a really good one when team got stuck, rather than me trying to help them through it, I'm like, hey, I think you're going to love this. Watch this and share with me your takeaways. So if you think this could be a cool tool belt, a tool in your tool belt, save this training when the recording comes up. So I have things like this all the time until I personally felt confident to keep coach and teach team through it, which is 10 years later, right? but I always leverage it off resources. Where'd I go there? But so personally, if I get stuck and I get stuck in a shitty story, I go through this process and you have to sit with it. It's like that light, shining a light of the monster under your bed, rather than ruminating over it and letting it just snowball and become a bigger story. I put the light on and articulate it. Put pen to paper, just like you ladies have, and articulate it. Like, what is the shitty story I'm telling? And then ask yourself, look at it, write it out. Is there truth in that? Is there? And maybe you can see like, no, that's just self-sabotage, that's shit. Or maybe you need to talk to your mentor about, this is a story I'm telling. Can you help me see, is there truth in this? Do you think there's truth in that? Maybe you need someone who's in your circle, who knows the situation, who can help you see, is there truth in that, and help you coach you through it, up level some skills, help rewrite a story. But most of the time you can do it yourself. And you're like, okay, that is a shitty story. What's the new one? And like I said, faith, right? At the end of the day, this new story is faith, but it's actually not, because it's based in evidence. I want you to go back to what we did at the start and look for evidence of, where have you had success in other areas of your life? Where have you shown up when it's been hard? Where have you led others? Where have you been the certainty? Where have you been the positivity? Where have you been consistent? When have you made it a priority, even though life is full and you've got 100 other things on your plate? Look for the evidence of where you have done that, and then create some new I am affirmations. So it's not just like this waffle story. It's actual, like, I am great with time management. I am brave. I am a great leader. I am positive. I am resilient. I am all the different things. Like, create some new I am affirmations so you can just remember, because a lot of the time you are these things. You have these superpowers, but you just need to remember and remind yourself of that, because sometimes we forget. Sometimes we haven't called on them for a little while. Sometimes we forgot they've been in our tool belt. Sometimes they've just been in our older versions of ourselves, and it's just a remembrance of who we are, how we want to show up in this space, and reactivating or activating our superpowers. Jodie's just said, I've been stuck in motherhood trying to juggle it all. I'm ready to bring my confident self back, step into my light and shine so other women can also see what's possible for them too. Yes, Jodie. I love it. I don't know if any other mamas can relate. I know I thought I could relate until I'm a mum, but like, until you're a mum, you're like, yes, there was once a version of me that was all these things, and she's still there. You just might lose her for a little bit. And it might look different. It looks different. But those characteristics and those traits are still in there. That fire is still in there. So you just got to remember who you are. Remind yourself. And you all have unique superpowers that have allowed you to create some level of success in other areas of your life. Maybe it was sport. Maybe it was in high school. Maybe it's in your marriage. Maybe it's in your role as a mother. And bring them into this arena so you can be the light for other women. So I'm going to love you and leave you, but please, if you loved today, please make sure you share it. If this is a really good training to have in your tool belt, make sure you save it when the recording comes up and share it with your team. Help them rewrite their new stories. And just remember, you are enough. Stop looking around you for someone else to create something and go first. You've got to go first to create the safety net so other women can come afterneath you. It's not just about becoming this leader. Remember I said at the start, it's not about because you're amazing. It's actually servant leadership. It's, I'm doing this because I know there's someone who was where I was 5-10 years ago that I want to help. And I can only help them if I go first and I do the reps and I show them that I did it even though I was scared and I survived. And then we get to start turning other women's lights on and activating all these other beautiful women and letting them have the sparkle back in their eyes and letting them believe again and have support again and experience health and wellness again. Like, all that's possible, but you've got to go first. All right, honeys, so much love for you all. Great to see you. Remember, we've got one more coaching call in this series next week with Linda. So yeah, see you back here this time next week. Bye, honeys.